go ahead and create yourself a third-person template project and then come into the plugins and enable motion warping and restart the editor. Now that we're in here, we need an animation that we can use, and this needs to once again have root motion enabled on it. So in the root motion folder of this pack, I have this swing and slam animation that I'm going to use for this demonstration. So this was a free asset on the Unreal Engine Marketplace. Hopefully some of you have it, but if you don't, I will make another tutorial to show you how to get animations from Mixamo into onto an Unreal character. There's lots of tutorials, but I think some of them don't do it very well. So let's use this one. And we're going to just right click and we're going to say retarget animations. And the source is going to be the original, and the target is going to be Manny, the UE5 mannequin. Sometimes when you select it, it sort of crashes out of there. That was happening to me yesterday. I'll just try again. Okay, there we go. So it's going from here to here. So this asset is specific for a specific character to another specific character, and Unreal happens to have made one of these. So untick the retargeter. Once again, I'll do a tutorial about this, but for now, I'm just going to go through it. So this is going from UE4 to UE5 mannequin, and it says ready to export. So we just need to find the animation. Swing and slam root motion, not in place. And let's put that into characters, animations, Manny. Go ahead and put that in there. Navigate to the animation and just check that it looks all right. And now we're going to right click and we're going to say create anim montage. So the animation montage is another asset that we need to use to get the motion warping to work. Open that up and you'll see a timeline in here. And this is where we're going to do that kind of counter animating that I showed you in Maya. Although we're not going to set the position because the position needs to be dynamic based on where the player is standing. We're just going to set the in and out points. So here on track 1, we can right click, add notify state, and add motion warping. And then we're going to drag these out. So we want to pick a good location to put that. So if I started here, she's going to be sliding while she's kind of stood there on 2 feet, which is going to look weird. So I'm going to start it about here where she starts to pivot off that front foot, and then it hopefully will hide it a little bit better. This is going to be a quick version, and I'll show you a better example afterwards. So we'll have her stop when she plants that second foot there. So we need to give this a name, and I'm just going to call this, what do we call this? Swing move 1. And the name is not important. It's just important that we remember it and put it in the animation blueprint. But I'm putting 1 because I'm going to break it into 2 parts later on to make it look a little bit better. And adding a bit of ease in and ease out hopefully will help it look a little bit more natural, so that instead of moving linear, it moves a little bit less at the beginning when she's like winding up, and then kind of increases the speed as it goes, and then slows again at the end. All right, so now we need to edit our blueprint. So we're going to find the third person blueprint, open that up. And we'll just navigate to a free spot over here. And we're going to add an input. So for now, I'm going to do this the lazy way and just type J key. There's a better way to do input with the enhanced input, but for now, I just want to do it a bit quickly. So just move that window aside and let's create something for her to kind of aim at. So I'm going to use a cylinder just for now. And the cylinder is just the visual representation of where I want her to hit, but I'm going to add in what's called a target point and put that somewhere else. So really these don't have to be together. They're not connected, but this one is invisible. So by putting a model there, it gives it some context. So this could be, a training dummy or a player or whatever it is that you're swinging at. So let's do get all actors of class. This is from the tutorial on the developer portal. This is not a very good way of getting a target, but for now it'll just kind of give us something to test out. So we're going to get the first target that we find. This is not great because what if you had multiple targets? It wouldn't know which one to hit. So this is just a temporary thing. And then we're going to get the location of the target. Click on Add and search Motion Warping to get the Motion Warping component. And then drag that into your scene. Drag off of it, and we're going to type Warp Target. So we have some different options how we want to do it. Let's do location and rotation for now. And we're going to use the location of that target point, and we'll just use 0 rotation for now. Okay, so now we've told the system where we want the animation to warp to, and now we have to actually play the animation. So let's do play montage. And the montage to play is going to be the one that we just created. And the mesh is going to go into skeletal mesh component so that it knows which skeleton to play the animation. Okay, it's not working. Why isn't it working? Well, that's because I forgot to enable root motion. So root motion, in addition to being authored correctly on the skeleton, like I showed you earlier, we need to actually tell the animation to be a root motion animation. So here, if I play it again, you can see that I forgot to put the root motion enabled, so my character actually moves out of the capsule. So that root bone is animating, and he's leaving his capsule, which is not good because now, if this was standing on something, it'll just be flying in the air. So what we need to do is we need to exit the gameplay, open up the animation clip that we created, not the anim montage, but the actual animation clip. Search root motion and enable root motion and root lock. And now let's look at that again. And now you'll see that the capsule's moving. And there we go. So we've got this kind of working how we initially wanted it, except we have a problem. The character is not facing in the right direction. And that's because we just set the rotation to 0, 0, 0. So you see that he's always just rotating to face that same direction, which is just forward. But he's moving into the correct location. So let's fix the rotation here. And we're going to do look at rotation. So we're going to find the look at rotation from the character, which will be the start, and the target, which is where we want him to look at. So the target is just the same location here. And the start rotation is where he's currently rotated. And to do that, we're going to do get actor location. And now it's going to figure out how to get this location to look at that location. And we'll put that in there. Let's give that a... So this is starting to work, but we've got some problems here. Right now, she doesn't really rotate to look at it until the last second. And I don't really like the way that that looks. So I'm going to split this up and make it a little bit more complicated, but I hope that that will help make this look a lot better. So let's split the translation and the rotation into separate layers. So this one that we already set up will be the will cover the translation. We'll turn off rotation, and then we're going to add another track. And let's right click and we're going to do add notify state motion warping. And this one's going to be the rotation. So that way we can have her rotate like, let's see, how about as she swings here, she'll start to rotate. And then there, maybe somewhere like there, she can start to face the right way. We'll call this swing rot for rotation 1. And we're going to change this a little bit. So instead of using rotation here, we're going to say update from location. And this time we're not going to use the rotation. I actually don't think it really matters because we've already turned off rotation. So let's just try really quickly to leave that alone. But if it doesn't work, we can use this one. And now we're going to do this again. There's unfortunately not one for just rotation. So we're just going to use the same one, but we've already turned off the translation, or actually I didn't. I forgot to do that. But here on the motion warping, we need to turn off translation because this one's only going to do rotation. And here we're going to use the rotation here. And this is swing rot 1. Is that what I called it? Yes. All right, so let's try this out now. And make sure that you use the motion warping component there. And we can get rid of this one. Now you can see she rotates much more quickly to look at the correct rotation. And then by the time she gets to the object, she's much closer. So there's still a lot of problems with this, but it's a good start. Here's some of the main problems. If we start way back here, we haven't set any limitations on this. So she's just going to slide all the way there, which is going to be kind of crazy, especially if she were blocked by a wall or something like that. And then another problem is like, it doesn't really matter where she's facing. She could be facing the wrong way. So we could add in some checks to do that. And then finally, what she's actually trying to do is she's trying to get into the middle of that object because we put the location right there. But what we really want is we want her to stop here and have her sword hit that object. So you may think, we could put this here. Then we have the same problem is what if she's over here when we start? Then she's going to have to come all the way around here. So to fix that, we need to set an offset that basically says instead of putting the character at that location, put the end of her sword at that location. So we can get more advanced with that in the next videos.